My girlfriend Claire said, "Oh, Mom, this is Mark, my coworker. He gave me a ride home while her mother was literally watching us kiss goodbye in the driveway through her kitchen window. 18 months together, and I am a coworker giving her a ride. Okay, Reddit. I need some perspective because I feel like I am losing my mind. Claire is 29, and I am 28. And we have been together for a year and a half. We spend most nights together, talk about future plans, and I genuinely thought we were building something real. But last night showed me I might have been the only one actually in this relationship. Claire had been having a stressful week at work. So I suggested we grab dinner at this nice Italian place she had been wanting to try. Great evening, good food, lots of laughs. Felt like old times. Around 9 p.m., I drove her back to her place like I always do. Now, I should mention that in 18 months together, I have never actually been inside Claire's own apartment. She always says her place is a mess, or she is getting work done, so we usually hang out at mine. I thought it was just her being self-conscious, you know? So I pull into her driveway, and we are sitting in my Honda Civic talking about weekend plans. She leans over, gives me this sweet kiss, tells me she had an amazing time. I am feeling all warm and fuzzy, thinking about how lucky I am to have her. That is when the porch light flicks on. This elegant woman in what I swear was a $500 silk robe opens the front door. Even from the car, I could tell she was really upset. Claire literally goes white. Oh no, that is my mom. She wasn't supposed to be here. The woman Patricia. I had later learned marches down the driveway in actual heels. At 9 p.m., who wears heels at 9 p.m. in their own driveway? She taps on Claire's window with perfectly manicured nails. Claire Elizabeth, what are you doing out here? Claire rolls down the window, and I can hear the panic in her voice. Hey Mom, I didn't know you were coming over tonight. Patricia's eyes slide over to me, and I swear the temperature dropped 10 degrees. And who is this? Oh, this is Mark, my coworker. He gave me a ride home since my car's in the shop. I blinked, hard, because Claire's car is sitting right there in the garage, and Patricia can see it too. But Patricia just nods like this, makes perfect sense. How nice of your coworker to drive you around. The way she said coworker, like I was some kind of servant. Claire hopped out of the car fast. Thanks so much for the ride, Mark. See you Monday. I sat there like an idiot while Claire practically sprinted to the house with her mother. Didn't even look back, drove home in complete silence. My brain trying to process what just happened. When I got to my apartment, I texted Claire. What was that about? Her response came an hour later. Sorry, Mom was being weird. She is very protective. Talk tomorrow. Protective about what? Her adult daughter getting a ride from a coworker? I couldn't sleep that night. Kept replaying the whole scene. The way Patricia looked at me. The way Claire's voice changed when she introduced me. The panic in her eyes. This morning, I called Claire. We need to talk about last night, Mark. It was nothing. My mom just gets anxious when she doesn't know where I am. Claire, she saw us kissing. Long pause. What do you mean? In the driveway, she was watching from the kitchen window. She saw us kiss. And then you introduced me as your coworker. Another pause. Longer this time. Look, my family is complicated. They ask a lot of questions. And I didn't want to deal with that last night. Questions about what? About the fact that you have a boyfriend? It is not that simple. But it felt exactly that simple to me. Here is what I cannot get out of my head in 18 months. I have never met any of her family. Not her parents, not her sister. She talks about all the time. Not even her grandmother who supposedly lives 10 minutes away. I have never been to family dinners, birthday parties, nothing. She has never posted a photo of us together on social media. Not once. Her Instagram looks like she is single. She pays for everything when we go out. Literally everything. Expensive restaurants, weekend trips, concert tickets. When I try to pay, she insists it is no big deal for her. I make decent money as a software engineer, but Claire works in marketing for some big firm, and clearly makes more than me. A lot more, based on her apartment complex and the clothes she wears. Am I being paranoid, or does it sound like she is ashamed of me? Is it possible I am dating someone who thinks I am not good enough for her family? Someone who has been keeping me as her little secret for a year and a half. The thing that is really eating at me is how natural the lie came to her. No hesitation. No guilt in her voice. Just instant deception. Like it was the most normal thing in the world. If she can lie that easily to her mother about who I am, what else has she been lying about? Update 1. So after the coworker incident, I decided I needed answers. Tuesday night, I went to Claire's place unannounced. Figured it was time to finally see this apartment she has been hiding for 18 months. The doorman looked at me like I was lost when I asked for Claire Mitchell in Unit 4B, Miss Mitchell. Are you sure you have the right person? Blonde, about 5'6". Works in marketing? Oh, you mean Claire. Yes, she is here, and you are. Her boyfriend, the look on his face was weird, like confused. I will call up and see if she is available. He calls up, and I can hear him saying there is a gentleman here who says he is your boyfriend. Says he is your boyfriend, like this was the first time anyone had ever used that word in connection with Claire. Claire came down to the lobby instead of inviting me up. She was flustered, kept asking why I didn't call first. Because we are dating, Claire. I shouldn't need an appointment to see my girlfriend. I wasn't expecting you. We went for a walk, and I asked her straight up, are you embarrassed by me? What? No. Why would you think that? Because in 18 months, I have never met a single person in your life. Not your family, not your friends, not even your neighbors, apparently. That is when she got defensive. Started saying I was being insecure and making a big deal out of nothing. But I pressed her. Claire, that doorman had no idea you had a boyfriend. How is that possible? I keep my personal life private. From everyone for a year and a half. She couldn't give me a real answer. Wednesday, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I looked her up on social media more thoroughly than I ever had before. Her Instagram has 2,000 followers. Her life looks absolutely nothing like the life I know. Fancy restaurant photos with girls' night captions from nights. I thought she was homesick. Gallery openings and charity events I had never heard of. Photos from family vacations taken during weekends. She told me she was working. But here is the kicker. There are photos of her with other guys. Recent photos, like from 2 months ago recent. One photo in particular made my stomach drop. Claire at some fancy cocktail party, wearing a dress I had never seen, with her arm around this tall guy in an expensive suit. The caption is amazing evening at the Morrison Foundation Gala. I screenshotted everything and called her Thursday morning. Who is the guy from the Morrison Gala? Silence. Claire. Who is he? That is complicated. Complicated how? He is someone my family knows. It was a family obligation thing. A family obligation to take romantic photos with another man? It wasn't romantic, Claire. People are asking when you are getting married in the comments. Comments you liked. I need to see you tonight. We need to talk about this properly. She agreed to come over to my place around 7 p.m. Reddit. The conversation we had that night changed everything. She showed up looking like she was going to a funeral. Saturday on my couch and immediately started crying, which threw me off because Claire never cries. I have been lying to you, she said. About a lot of things. My heart stopped. My family doesn't know we are dating. What do you mean they don't know? I mean they think we are friends. Work friends. Maybe. I sat there trying to process this. For 18 months, your family thinks you are single. It is not that simple. It is exactly that simple. Claire. Either we are together, or we are not. That is when the whole story came out. Claire's family is wealthy. Her father owns an investment firm. Her mother sits on charity boards. They have a house in the Hamptons, and another in Aspen. She grew up with private schools, country clubs, the works. They have expectations about who I date. What kind of expectations? Someone from a similar background. Someone who fits into their world. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach, and I don't fit. She couldn't look at me. It is not about you personally, Mark. You are amazing. But you drive a Honda Civic and work at a software company nobody's heard of, and what? I am not rich enough for your family. My mom already has someone picked out for me. James Morrison, his family owns Morrison Industries. We have been friends since we were kids. Morrison, like the gala guy. Is that who is in the photo with you? She nodded. And your family thinks you are dating him? They think we are. Figuring things out. I stood up and started pacing my tiny living room. So let me get this straight. For 18 months, I thought I was your boyfriend. But to your family, you are single. And maybe getting back together with some rich guy named James. It is not like that. What is it like, Claire? Because from where I am sitting, it looks like you have been living a double life. She kept crying, kept saying how sorry she was, how she never meant for it to go this far. How far did you think it would go? Were you planning to keep me a secret forever? I thought maybe eventually they would come around, or maybe you would find someone they approved of and drop me. She couldn't answer that. The worst part was when I asked her about all the expensive dates, all the times she had insisted on paying. I felt guilty, she admitted. I knew I was being unfair to you, so I tried to make up for it by taking care of things financially. You felt guilty, so you decided to make me feel like a charity case. That is not what I meant, but that is exactly what it was, wasn't it? She had been buying my silence with expensive dinners and weekend trips. I asked her to leave that night, told her I needed time to think. But honestly, Reddit, what is there to think about? The really messed up part. I love her, but I am starting to realize that love isn't enough when someone fundamentally doesn't respect you. Update 2. What I discovered this week has completely blown apart everything I thought I knew about Claire and our relationship. Remember how I thought the James Morrison thing was bad? That was nothing. After my last post, Claire had been texting me constantly, begging to meet up, saying she was ready to introduce me to her family, that she had break things off with James, which apparently there was something to break off. I kept saying no. I mean, how do you come back from 18 months of deception? But then something happened that changed everything. Last Saturday, I was at Home Depot buying stuff for my apartment, trying to keep busy, you know. When I ran into this guy from college, Mike, we got to talking, and he mentioned he had been working at Morrison Industries for the past 3 years. Morrison Industries? Do you know James Morrison, Jimmy? Yeah. He is the boss's son. Good guy, actually, getting married soon to his college girlfriend. My brain stopped working. Married? Yeah, they have been engaged for like 6 months. Big society wedding planned for late next month. Why? I showed him the Instagram photo of Claire and James. Oh dang, that is her. That is Amanda. No wait, what was her name? Claire Mitchell. You know Claire? Dude, she has been dating Jimmy for like 3 years. She is at all the company events. Really nice girl. The world started spinning. 3 years? Yeah, maybe longer. I remember her from the Christmas party in 2021. They seemed pretty serious even then. I thanked Mike and got out of there as fast as I could. Saturday in my car in the Home Depot parking lot, trying not to throw up. 3 years. She had been with James for 3 years, which meant she was with him before she met me. I wasn't the secret boyfriend. James wasn't the family friend she was being set up with. I was the side piece. I drove straight to Claire's apartment building, didn't call, just showed up. The doorman, same guy from before, tried to call up, but I told him it was an emergency. Maybe something in my face convinced him, because he let me go up. I knocked on her door, and when she opened it, she was wearing this silk robe that probably cost more than my rent. Behind her, I could see her apartment for the first time. This place was insane. This wasn't just nice. This was rich people nice. Mark, what are you doing here? We need to talk. Now she let me in, and I just started talking. Told her about running into Mike. About learning that James wasn't some family friend, but her boyfriend of 3 years. Her face went completely white. Mark, I can explain. Explain what? That you have been cheating on your actual boyfriend with me for 18 months. It is not cheating. James and I, we are complicated. Complicated how? You are engaged. She sat down hard on her very expensive couch. How did you? So it is true. You are engaged to him. She started crying again. But this time, I didn't feel sorry for her. The engagement isn't real. She sobbed. It is for our families. James and I, we care about each other, but we are not in love. But you have been with him for 3 years. It is expected. Our families have been planning this since we were teenagers. I looked around her apartment at the photos on the mantle that I was now seeing clearly for the first time. Claire and James at what looked like family dinners. Claire and James at weddings. Claire and James with older couples who were obviously their parents. Does James know about me? She shook her head. So you have been lying to both of us. I never meant for this to happen. I met you at that conference. And you were so different from everyone in my world. You were genuine and funny. And you liked me for me, not for my family or my money. So you decided to keep me as your escape fantasy while living your real life with him? It wasn't like that. What was it like, Claire? And then she said something that made me understand everything. I thought I could have both. I thought I could keep you separate from my real life and just be happy with you when I needed to be myself, when she needed to be herself. Like her real life with James was some kind of performance, and I was her off-stage break. Do you love him? I asked. She hesitated. I love the life we have together. That is not what I asked. I don't love him the way I love you, but you are still going to marry him. Another hesitation, longer this time. It is complicated, Mark. You don't understand the pressure, the expectations. You are right. I don't understand because I come from a world where people marry for love, not for business mergers. That is when I noticed the ring. It was sitting on her kitchen counter next to her keys. Huge diamond, obviously worth more than my car. Is that your engagement ring? She followed my gaze and nodded. When do you wear it? When I am being the person my family expects me to be. And when you are with me, you are being who? Your authentic self. Yes. But your authentic self is someone who lies to everyone she cares about. She couldn't answer that. I picked up the ring and looked at it. It was beautiful. I will give it that. Probably cost more than I make in a year. Here is what I don't understand. Claire, if you love me, if I am your authentic self, why are you still planning to marry him? Because I cannot give up everything for you. And there it was. Finally, the truth. You cannot give up the money, the status, the life you have always known. It is not just about money. Yes, it is. You would rather marry someone you don't love and keep me as your side piece than give up your trust fund and your country club and your perfect society life. She was sobbing now, mascara running down her face. I thought you would understand eventually. I thought maybe we could find a way to make it work. What way? I would be your secret forever while you play house with your fiancé. Maybe after a few years, when things settled down, a few years of what? A few years of you lying to him. Lying to me. Lying to your family. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. I put the ring back on the counter. You cannot fix this, Claire, because this isn't broken. This is working exactly how you designed it. I headed for the door. Mark, please. I love you. I turned back to look at her one last time. Still beautiful. Even crying. Still wearing that expensive robe in her expensive apartment, surrounded by photos of her expensive life with her expensive fiancé. No, you don't. You love the way I make you feel about yourself, but you don't love me enough to actually choose me. And that was it. I left. She has been calling and texting non-stop since Saturday, saying she will break up with James, that she will tell her family everything, that she chooses me. But here is the thing. She has had 18 months to choose me, and every single day, she chose him instead. Now that she has been caught, now that her perfect little compartmentalized life has exploded, suddenly she is ready to make sacrifices. I don't think so. I blocked her number yesterday. The crazy part is, I am not even angry anymore. I am just tired. Tired of feeling like I am not enough. Tired of being someone's secret. Tired of competing with a life I could never provide. James Morrison can have her. Heck, maybe they deserve each other, two people who are more concerned with appearances than authenticity. I deserve someone who chooses me first, not someone who chooses me only when their other options are taken away. One more update coming to close this out, but I think you all can guess how this story ends. Sometimes finding out the truth is the best thing that can happen to you, even when it hurts like heck. Update 3. Hey Reddit. Final update here, a lot has happened since I walked out of Claire's apartment. And I wanted to close the loop because you have all been invested in this mess from the beginning. First, the immediate aftermath. After I blocked Claire's number, she tried everything to get in touch with me. Emails, Instagram, direct messages, even showing up at my work, which was mortifying. Security had to escort her out. But the most insane thing was when she sent her sister to my apartment. This woman I would never met showed up at my door saying Claire was having a breakdown and that I needed to be reasonable. I told her sister exactly what I told Claire. I am not interested in being anyone's secret or second choice. That seemed to be the end of it, until 3 weeks ago. I was at a coffee shop near my office when this guy walked up to my table. Tall, expensive suit, looked like he had stepped out of a Ralph Lauren ad. "Are you Mark Turner?" Who was asking. "James Morrison. I think we need to talk, Reddit." I nearly choked on my coffee. He sat down without being invited and just started talking. "I know about you and Claire." "I am sorry." "What?" "I have known for months. Since February, actually." I stared at him. "You knew she was cheating on you. Claire and I aren't together the way you think we are." Then he told me something that completely blew my mind. James is gay, has been his whole life, but his family is old money conservative and would disown him if they found out. So he and Claire have this arrangement. They play the perfect society couple in public while living completely separate private lives. It was her idea, actually. She needed a boyfriend her family would approve of. I needed a girlfriend to keep my family off my back about settling down. But you are engaged. On paper, the wedding's supposed to be in 2 weeks, but he looked genuinely sad. "Claire fell in love with you." I didn't know what to say to that. She talks about you constantly, how happy you make her, how real you are, how different her life is when she is with you. If that is true, then why is she marrying you instead of being with me? Because she is terrified. Her whole identity is wrapped up in being Patricia Mitchell's perfect daughter. She has never had to choose between love and security before, and you are okay with marrying someone who is in love with someone else. James laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Mark, I have been pretending to be someone I am not my entire life. At least with Claire, I had a friend who understood what that felt like. So why are you telling me this?" "Because she is miserable, and because I am tired of pretending too." Then he said something that changed everything. "I came out to my parents last week. What happened? They threatened to cut me off, disown me, the whole dramatic production. But you know what? I didn't care anymore. I would rather be broke and honest than rich and lying, and Claire. When I told her I was calling off the wedding, she panicked, started saying we could still make it work, that maybe things would change. She wanted to keep the arrangement. She is scared, Mark. Terrified of losing everything she has ever known. But I cannot be her safety net anymore." James pulled out his phone and showed me a text thread. Messages from Claire begging him not to call off the wedding, saying she would figure things out with me, that they could go back to how things were. I told her no. I told her she needed to choose, either fight for what she wants or accept what she has been given. But she cannot have both anymore. So what happens now? Now I am moving to San Francisco to be with someone I actually love. The wedding's officially canceled as of yesterday. He stood up to leave, then turned back. For what it is worth, she really does love you. She has just never learned how to choose love over comfort. That is not my problem to fix. No, it is not. But I thought you should know the whole story. After James left, I sat in that coffee shop for 2 hours trying to process everything. Claire had been living in this weird fake relationship while dating me, which was somehow both better and worse than what I would originally thought. Better, because she wasn't actually cheating on someone she loved. Worse, because it meant she had chosen a fake relationship over our real one. That night, Claire showed up at my apartment. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept in weeks. "James told me he talked to you." "He did. So now you know everything." "Do I?" "Because I am starting to think there are layers of deception I haven't even discovered yet." She started crying again. "I know you hate me. I don't hate you, Claire. I just don't trust you. I want to be with you. Really be with you. No more secrets. No more lies. What changed? James calling off the wedding, my parents freaking out, realizing that everything I thought was stable and permanent was just as fake as everything else in my life. So you are choosing me because your other option disappeared? No. I am choosing you because I finally realized that nothing else matters if I am not happy. Claire, you had 18 months to realize that. You could have chosen me any day for 18 months. And you didn't. I was scared. Of what? Of having less money, of your parents being disappointed, of not being enough, of you realizing that without all the expensive dinners and weekend trips, I am just a spoiled rich girl who doesn't know how to function in the real world. That stopped me cold. You think I was with you for the money, weren't you? At least a little. The restaurants, the trips, the experiences you could never afford on your own. And that is when I finally understood the real problem. Claire didn't just think I wasn't good enough for her world. She thought she wasn't good enough for mine. Claire, I never wanted your money. I wanted you to want me enough to give it up. But what if I give it all up and you realize I am not worth it? What if you don't give it up and you never find out if we could have been happy together? She couldn't answer that. I told her I needed time to think, which was partially true. But mostly, I needed to figure out if I could ever trust someone who had lied to me about literally everything for 18 months. The answer came to me a week later. I cannot. It is not about the money, or the social class, or even the fake engagement. It is about the fact that when things got complicated, Claire's first instinct was to lie. To everyone. About everything. How do you build a life with someone like that? So I texted her last week. I cannot do this. I hope you figure out what you really want, but it cannot be with me. She tried calling, but I didn't answer. Yesterday, I heard through Mike, the Morrison Industries guy, that Claire moved back to New York. Apparently, she is taking some time to figure herself out. Part of me hopes she does. Figures out how to be honest, how to choose love over comfort, how to build something real instead of just maintaining something convenient. But that is her journey to take. Not mine.